Alright, what's up YouTube? It's Rhys again, and this time I'm going to make a video on Dr. Garramone, his office and surgery and all that kind of stuff. So, pretty much, when I first made my appointment, it's like you call in and they set up the phone consultation. Excuse me. And, Garramone will call you unless you live outside the United States. And for international calls, you have to call them because they're not going to pay the fee. And pretty much all he does is he asks you just a brief medical history. You're having a surgery, so he's going to ask you medical questions. Like I had to tell him that I have asthma because that can affect the anesthesia, and I can tell you about that in a few minutes. And it's like diabetes or heart problems. It's like he'll ask you your height and your weight. Because it's like that stuff does matter. And then you have to send him pictures of your chest, so he can look at it and then kind of make a first glance type of decision on what kind of surgery, if you're going to have the keyhole method or if you're going to have the double incision method like I had. So you send him the pictures and then he calls you, and so that way while he's on the phone he's like, oh yeah, so I saw your pictures and I think that blah method is best for you. For me it was, it's going to be the double incision. I'm like, yeah, I kind of already knew that. I could tell by my chest size. I'm like, yeah, sure. I think I was somewhere around a B cup, I think. Big A, little B, maybe. I was never really good figuring that out because I never really wanted to know. The smaller the better for me. Click over to the nurse and then you pretty much discuss scheduling. Have an idea of when you'd like to have it before you call. Don't just call and be like, oh, so I want to have chest surgery, at some point in the future. So it's like, have an idea. For me, I knew I wanted it sometime in late July, early August. So somewhere in there. Let's see, I made my appointment back in 2013. I think it was like November, December, I think. And so I knew that during the summer I was going to be up in Yosemite. I have a video of me standing in my tent, like making an introductory video. So I knew I was going to be in Yosemite. So I knew also that I was going to be going back to school after Yosemite. So I'm like, well, I want a little bit of time to heal before I try to go back to school. So I had this plan of either, late July, early August to try to get it done. And so, that's what I told them. They're like, okay, cool. Here's what we have. And then they tell you. So you have your appointment, but then, for your surgery, but then the day before that is your pre-op appointment where you go in to Dr. Garramone and he does his pre-op thing. And give me a minute, I'll talk about that. And so for us, we flew in on Sunday and got all situated at New Beginnings, and then and then that's where Leland kind of talked to me a little bit about this. And then on Monday I went in for my pre-op. That's where Garramone really kind of explains more of what's going to happen. He looks at your chest again, so he's going to have you take off your shirt, take off your binder if you're wearing one. So they give you these little paper, like it's a gown, but it's like a paper one. You just put it on like a jacket, just kind of like cover yourself up. And so, it's like then Garramone comes in after a while. Paperwork. Be prepared for paperwork. I got there, like my appointment was supposed to be like 12:30. I got there at 12 and had to do like that much paperwork. It was ridiculous. Just be prepared. All legal mumbo jumbo crap. Just be prepared for it. It took me quite a while because I'm dyslexic, so it took me longer to read it because I did, excuse me, gassy again. What's with the gassy? So it did take me a little while, but I mean, whatever. And then you sit, you wait, and then they take you back, have you take off your stuff, and when Dr. Garramone comes in, he has you, it's like first he says, "Hi, how's it going? I'm Dr. Garramone, who are you?" And he has you stand up in front of this big, big mirror, and, it's like, pulls a little thing off your chest, you stand there going, "I hate myself, grr." And he kind of just shows you, it's like, I'm gonna kind of move this down a little bit. All right, you know what? Actually, this is coming off. Look at the boobies. Okay. I'm telling you, I'm so hyper right now. Okay, so pretty much what he does is like, because, okay, for me, my nipples were like down here somewhere, or like in there. And so what he did was he like pulls down your chest, and then he's like, there. All of that, like, underneath here, like, all of my boob was underneath here, and he's like, boom, all that's gonna be gone, and then there's gonna be a nipple right there. And so he shows you, he's like, he kind of takes his hand, so he pulls this down, and so at first it looks really funny because you don't have, like, my nipples are here now, but they weren't before. And so it's gonna look a little bit weird at first because of that, but what he does is he, like, pulls it down and says, that's where your new nipple's gonna be, and then all this stuff underneath here is gonna be gone. So just kind of a FYI on that. And so when I went back out, I talked to the nurse, and they tell you about these vitamin supplements you can take. And pretty much what they do is they help with inflammation and bruising, and so it really helps kind of just keep everything down in it. And I mean, I got them, I took them, and I mean, I didn't necessarily see any difference, but I mean, there could have been a huge difference. I mean, if I didn't take them versus if I did, I mean, hey, there could have been a really huge difference. They could have helped a lot. I had practically no post-operative swelling. So, I mean, I can pretty much say that, yeah, it probably worked because I had, like, no swelling at all. A bit, I mean, of course, but, like, nothing. So, but if you're going to get them, you have to get them that day because you have to have them in your system before you go into surgery. And they'll tell you all about those. Plus ScarGuard, I did get their ScarGuard. They'll tell you that it's not possible to find it in stores, but that's kind of a lie because I found it. They give you the 1 ounce little jar, and I found the ½ ounce. I found that at Target. Yeah, Target. Anyway, so they tell you all about that, and they give you your appointment, your surgery time, because up until then you won't know what it is. You won't know what your surgery time is until that point. So after pre-op, then you just kind of go back to wherever you're staying. I highly suggest you go to New Beginnings Retreat. If you haven't watched my video on New Beginnings, please watch it. Research them seriously. Even if you're not going by yourself, seriously consider them. They're amazing. And so after that, you can't eat or drink after midnight. And so pretty much what I did was I ate at like 11:30. Like you can't even drink water. That's the like kind of sucky thing. So you might want to make sure you're nice and hydrated the day before, so that you're not super thirsty. I mean, I guess if you're careful, you can like put water in your mouth, swish it around, and then spit it out. Just make sure you don't drink any of it because this is going to be kind of gross, but the reason for it is because while you're under anesthesia, you don't exactly have full control over your body. So if something happens and your body gags and you vomit, you can breathe in, or it's called aspirating, your vomit into your lungs. And besides being extremely disgusting, that's extremely bad. So don't, seriously. And then like the next day, got up, wear very, very comfortable clothes, because after surgery, you're gonna have to put your clothes back on. You're not gonna wanna. So definitely the button-up shirts, it's like get like I went to the thrift store and I got this shirt that was a bit big on me so that I could easily like slip my arms into it, you know, and button it up because you're gonna have these huge bandages on you and you can't lift your arms. I mean, if you can, then you're doing something wrong. And so also I wore boxers that were very just kind of, you know, loose and comfy, and sweatpants. They let you wear socks in surgery, but that's it. You are naked. You are completely buck naked for your surgery. But don't worry about it, because hey, they've seen it all. So when you get to the surgery center, because Dr. Garramone's office is just that, it's an office, and it has, you know, a cute little waiting area, reception desk, little bathroom, and pretty much just like offices in the back, and then rooms, like patient rooms, for you to go in and get ready for Garramone to see you. But the surgery takes place at a surgery center at a hospital. And so you go to this little surgery center, and it's all other types of, like, it's for public use too, you know, for other types of day surgeries. But so when you get there, you walk in, and there's a cute little receptionist desk, and you know, just kind of walk up. Like she or he will tell you to sign in, so you sign their cute little sheet, and the person who's going to be taking care of you, so whoever's going to be picking you up and taking you to wherever you're staying, has to be there, because they have to sign off and say, I am here to take care of so-and-so. I will take him wherever he needs to go after surgery, you know, because you can't drive after surgery. Trust me, you can't drive. Wow, this is going to be another really long video. I'm sorry. I'm long-winded, but again, I don't want to leave anything out. So then it just kind of becomes the waiting game. You know, somewhere in there, we went back and we talked to the lady about final payment, because you have to pay Garramone for his services, but then you also have to pay the hospital for using their equipment and facilities. That's the word I'm looking for, facilities. So that's extra money. I'll find that somewhere, and I'll put it in the description on how much that cost, because I don't remember at all. And then they'll take you back. You need to give a urine sample. If you still have your ovaries and your uterus, I'm sorry guys, I have to mention those horrible, horrible little nasty things that are inside of your body. No matter how old or young you are, as long as you still have them and they are functioning, they will take a pregnancy test, no matter how much you swear up and down how you could never ever possibly get pregnant. They will take your urine for a pregnancy test. Just be a man about it, piss in the cup, give the cute little lady the cup. Had a really cute nurse. You know, and they'll take, I think they take your height and your weight again. You know, then she kind of sat me down and she asked me, it's like, okay, so what are you here for today? Because they want to make sure that you know what you're getting into. So it's just, you could say, you know, double mastectomy, you know, double incision mastectomy, or, you know, top surgery with Garramone, or, you know, something to that effect, so that they know, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And then they send you back out and you wait. I want to take a book, Sudoku, something. Nervousness? I was not nervous at all. My one thing I was nervous about was going under anesthesia, because when I went under to have my wisdom teeth out, I was very sick afterwards. I didn't throw up, but I was very, very nauseous. And I mean, like, so many times I was like, I'm good, never mind. You know, and so I was like, oh God, I don't want that. Oh my God, that's like the last thing I'm gonna need with all these bandages on, to be like dry heaving or throwing up or anything. It's like, oh my God, that's gonna be horrible. And so that was my one and only fear. I mean, I guess that's a good thing, because it kind of shows that, you know, I had no reservations then, and I have no regrets now, for my surgery. So once you've done all your waiting, and then they take you back, and at first it's just you. Whoever you're with, they just kind of hang out. So my mom went with me, and so did my boyfriend, so they just kind of hung out in the waiting area until they were allowed to come back and see me, because then they take you in the back. They, you know, they give you your own little cute little, like, you know, you get your own bed, and then it has the curtains that go around it, you know, your little privacy curtains. You know, it's like, you know, get out all your clothes, put the dress on, you know, put the gown on, you know, and then the anesthesiologist is going to come by, and, you know, the nurses are going to talk to you and blah, blah, blah. And as soon as we have that set up, you know, because they give you an IV and everything. So it's like, as soon as that's set up, then you'll bring your family back. So they do all that. You know, it's like, we're talking to him, and he was like, well, you have any questions? I'm like, yeah. Will I be sick afterwards? And he's like, no, you'll be all right. He's like, I'm going to put an anti-nausea medicine in with your anesthesia, so you should be fine. And I'm like, oh, sweet. And at that point, I was totally good. I'm like, let's do this. Hey, where is he? Let's go. Come on, guys. Anywhere? Come on, let's go. You know, I'm just like, let's do this thing. Then Garramone, you know, he comes back. Pretty much when Garramone gets there, you know that's like, that's your time, you're going in. And he, again, what he does is he kind of like pushes everything down, and he draws a line. So pretty much what happens is that he pretty much draws this line on your skin. So he pulls everything down, draws the line, and then pulls everything up, draws another line. And all that comes off, and then they squish the two lines together, and then that makes your cute little incisions. And so then he draws the lines for, you know, it's like he'll draw a line, sorry, I keep having to move this. He'll draw a line from your throat all the way down, and so pretty much he looks at like your throat and your belly button, and he kind of like just makes this line. He draws lines for where your nipples are going to be, so he kind of comes down in like little dotted lines, you know, where they're supposed to be, and so you get all marked up. The marks come off really easily, so don't worry about that. And pretty much what I had asked, I kind of had to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, well, I really don't feel like when I wake up, I'm going to be like, oh God, I have to pee. So I'm like, can I go to the bathroom real quick? They're, you know, because the nurses, they're like, okay, it's about your time, let's go. So I'm like, can I go to the bathroom first? So like, ran over to the bathroom, and it was really funny because as soon as I opened the door, there's like 3 nurses, and there's like a bed there for me already, and it's like, dude, this is hilarious. They're like, hey, curbside service. I'm like, yeah, toilet side service. You know, so it's like a hop on the gurney, and you know, it's like then they just kind of like start wheeling you around, and so it's like I get my mom a hug and a kiss, my boyfriend a hug and a kiss, like, see you guys in a few minutes, because, you know, for me it's just, you know, for us it's like done, you know, for them it's hours. And they, you know, they said bye, and, you know, they took off, and they went over to the mall, because there's a mall right over there. I never saw it. I never went there. But that's a really cool place for whoever you're with to kind of go, just go people watch, walk around. And they give you your anesthesia at that point, which I thought was really funny because, like, you know, I hadn't eaten in hours, right? And because my surgery wasn't until 12:30 in the afternoon. And so, you know, I hadn't eaten since midnight. So it's like, dude, that's like 12 and a half hours. No, like 13 hours, because I ate at like 11:30. Anyways, and so like they're wheeling me past the employee break room, and somebody had like the most amazing smelling lunch, like cooking in the microwave, and I'm like, oh, you guys have to move that. I mean, come on, you're wheeling people past here that haven't eaten in like a half a day. Really? And they're like, yeah, we're sorry. And it was so funny because I was like already like, I was going, you know, it's like I was going, you know, and the Willie passed this window. Ah, that's dog feet. Look. See? Hi, Key. So see, even when I move my laptop, she's still hitting it. Move it this way, jeez. Ugh, running out of room on my bed to put stuff. Okay, so thank you, Kita. So they wheelie past this window. It's a really nice big window. It's got a pretty view of the lawn, which is freakishly green. It's got palm trees, and they're like, "Hey, look out the window!" And I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty." At least that's what I was trying to say. I'm pretty sure it came out as, "Wow, that's pretty," because I was out just completely and utterly out. You know, and then, well, you don't remember anything else, and then you wake up. I woke up, they give you 2 hours in recovery. I took 3. I don't come out of anesthesia well, because they kept trying to wake me up, because Leland told me, do not force yourself to get up. If you feel like you're going to be sick, do not get up. Just lay there. Take more time if you need to, period. And so, you know, it's like, because after 2 hours, because they give you the 2 hours and they leave you alone. Oh yeah, after the 2 hours, then they start waking you up. They start bugging you, and honestly, that pissed me off. And it was really hilarious, because after like 3 or 4 times of me pretty much saying like, screw you, they just left me alone again. I slept for like another hour. And then they're like, okay, dude, you need to leave. Get up and go away. And so they were really trying to, you know, like, get me up, get me awake. And my problem was I was really dizzy. So it's like, I would sit up and it was like, just like flop back down. Like, dude, I'm not getting up right now. But you know, it's like after a while, you have to get up, you have to leave. And so had this really, really amazing, nice nurse. I mean, she was probably like, I don't know, 23, 24, something like that. And, I mean, God bless her heart. I was so doped from all of those medications, plus because they pump you full of, like, antibiotics and painkillers and the anesthesia. So, like, I was flying high as a kite. And so, like, she asked me, she's like, you know, it's like, come on, we're gonna get your underwear and pants back on, like, you know, lift up your legs. And, you know, it's like, so they had gotten me to sit up. I wasn't perfectly up. I was kind of like in a recliner position. And so, like, let's see if I can do this. So here are my legs, right? Yeah, my body is, like, back up here. And she's like, give me your, she's like, come on, lift up your legs. You know, so she's thinking, like, literally, I was like, whoosh. I was like, here you go. And I was like bearing everything to this poor girl. And she took it in stride. Like, she was like, okay, cool. You know, she's like taking my underwear and like putting over my legs. I'm kind of flexible. And apparently, like, painkillers and anesthesia give me superpowers, because my legs were like, wah. And so she's like, okay. So she like slips it over, and she's like, okay. And so then she like takes my pants. And she's, you know, I had, sweats. She's like, okay, and she's like slipping it over my feet, and she's like, hey, you can put your legs down now. So I'm like, oh, okay. Put my legs back down. She's like, can you lift up your butt? You know, and she's like, slide my underwear underneath, slide my pants underneath. She's like, it's probably gonna feel funny. I'm sorry. She's like, fix it later, you know, because you know, my boxers kind of bunched up, but I didn't care, dude. I didn't even notice, you know. And so then she's like, okay, well, lean forward, let's get your shirt on. And so it's like, you put your arm as far back as you can, get that one, like that way, and then she like pulls it up over your shoulders. You know, it's like, I needed a lot of help. I was so out of it. Like, if you left me alone for 2 seconds, I was asleep again. And so, you know, she's like buttoned up my shirt and everything, and you know, it's like, kind of untied my shoes a little bit, stuck my feet in them, tied them up a little bit, you know. And then it's like, okay, let's stand up now. And I'm like, yeah, that's gonna happen, you know. And so, because what sucks is they can't really like hold you up, because of all your incisions and stuff. So it was like a lot of just like pushing on your chest or pushing on your back or on your butt. I'm pretty sure I felt somebody's hand on my butt getting me out of that chair. And so it's like they had helped me out of this chair, and it was so funny, because it's like I stood up, and then it was like, like face first, and they're like, oh god, you know, they're like diving to grab me as I could do a face plant, but luckily they got me, and I'm like, come on, let's go. And I'm just like head first, just trying to chug along. But the problem was that wasn't quite understanding was that I was like this, like trying to walk this way. They're like, stand up straight. And I'm like, I'm up straight. And they're like, open your eyes. I'm like, my eyes are open. I was so messed up. I'm like, dude, why can't you guys have a wheelchair? And so they had to walk me out of this place. And oh my God, it was ridiculous. And they kept telling me, they're like, you have to stand up straight. You have to stand up straight. Open your eyes. And the whole time I'm like, what do you think I'm doing? And so they like get me out, and like before they do this, you know, they told my mom, hey, we're gonna get him up, go bring the car around, you know, it's like bring it around the front so that he doesn't have to walk very far. You know, it's like cock the seat back in the car, and I just laid down. You know, it's like they hooked me in, but then it was like, let's get the heck out of here, because it it was a really weird sensation because I was dizzy, except I didn't like see the room spin. I mean, I've been dizzy before where I've seen the room spin, and that is scary as hell. But it was like all of the feeling of being dizzy without the like seeing it. It was really interesting, and it made me pretty nauseous. But as soon as I laid down, I like it would just immediately just start going away, and then within a minute maybe, then it was completely gone. And it was really funny because the ride from the hospital is probably only like 10 minutes, 15, I guess. And it felt like forever. It was really strange. It was like time just slowed down on that trip back. And so, it's like we get back to New Beginnings, and, it's like I'm trying to get out of the car by myself, and my boyfriend's like running around like, oh my god, no, let me help you, and so he's like trying to pull me up without pulling on my arms, and my mom's coming around, she's trying to help, and Leland like meets us at the door, and he's like, oh my god, okay, get inside, because I was feeling worse. It's like as soon as I'd stand up, I'd start feeling bad, so I'm like, just let me go, I need to lay down, and so it's like I finally managed to get myself into bed, and I was like, oh, just like, I feel like crap. It's like, because I was there for an hour longer than I was supposed to be, so everybody was actually kind of worried about me, like, oh my god, is he okay? What happened? And one of the guy's girlfriends, she had told me, she's like, oh, it's a sin, she'll be totally fine, because he had already had his surgery, and so she's like, it's totally fine. She felt so bad. She's like, oh my god, is he alright? I told him everything was gonna be okay, oh god, she's like totally freaking out. And so like, it's like, I just went into the room and just kind of just crashed on the bed. Bonnie comes in, she's like, aw, Rhys is such a lightweight, and I'm like, shut up, whoever you are. And she's at the bottom of the bed. She's, like, massaging my feet, which felt amazing. And then it was pretty much just, like, sleep. That's all I did. Like, everybody just kind of left me alone. Oh, dry mouth. Oh, God, the dry mouth. You will want something immediately when you when you come out of anesthesia for the dry mouth. Oh, my God, if you've ever had dry mouth, like, if you wake up at night and you're like, you have no idea what this is like. It is the strangest and kind of scary thing, because if your mouth gets dry, then it goes down, your throat gets dry, and then you can't really swallow, and you start to kind of choke a little bit. So, have water. Make sure you definitely have water. And, like, when I was in the car, I remember I was like, water. And, I mean, I could barely even talk. That's how just dry my throat was. I mean, I was just barely getting it out. And luckily, I know sign language. My boyfriend knows sign language. So I was just like, because that's water. This is a W, and you put it up to your mouth, and that means water. So I was just like, he's like, you want water? And I'm like, so he brings out his water, because we have these spiffy Nalgene bottles. Orange is my favorite color. And so he kind of like gives it to me, and he's like, be careful with it, and I'm just like, I'm just kind of jugging it down. I did pretty good, actually. I think I only got like a little bit of water in my face. Anyways, so the thing that I really wanted when I was sleeping was that I wanted a glass of water next to me. And bendy straws, bendy, are your best friend. Best friend. Because when you got a surgery, you can't do this. That's not going to happen. You can kind of go... So, bendy straws, best friend. At New Beginnings, they have them. And I picked the spot on the bed right next to the bathroom, in case I had to get up and go or something like that. Even with all of the, like, dizziness and nausea I had, I never threw up. Didn't even really come close to it. I actually never ended up using their pain meds, which pretty much everybody says the pain meds, that also makes you sick, so I just didn't take it. And they pump you full of pain meds while you're under anyway, and so you don't really need to take anything for the first day. Anyway, so I just slept it off. That's all I did. I just slept like practically forever. Woke up for a little bit, had a little bit to eat. Leland tells you to eat toast with peanut butter. Honestly, I love toasted peanut butter. That's kind of a little snack that I make for myself anyway. So I kind of had that, it's like cut it up into little pieces and just kind of like nibbled on it. I just ate it really slowly just in case that I would get sick, but I didn't. I felt fine. Honestly, I was feeling sicker because I was hungry, and then I ate, and then I felt good. my head kind of stayed a little off, where I'd stand up and I'd be like, whoa. You know, like my head kind of stayed a little off. But that only lasted like a day. The next day I was at Walmart. Went to Walmart. I got Tylenol, and that's what I took for pain. I just took the Tylenol. And really, I didn't have any pain. I mean, probably because, yes, I was taking the Tylenol, but most of the things that I felt was just discomfort. Because all of this is like compressing your chest. You can't really take a full breath very easily. It's pushing down your stomach. That's what hurt me, because it pushed my stomach so much. Because I have problems with my stomach anyway, and so it didn't help that it was like crushing my stomach, and so I couldn't stand up for very long. I'd have to sit down after a while. But all I ever felt was discomfort. That's it. Only a couple times did I actually feel pain, and that was the drain kind of tugged a little bit, and it was like, hey, ow, ow, you know. But that was like it, and then pretty much you just deal with it for a week. And stop moving. She's moving again. Like I said, random, hyper. Wow, going on 45 minutes. This is bad. I'm sorry if you totally had to like fast forward through this. I'm actually skipping some stuff. So that's all I did. I mean, just rest, drink your fluids, you know, the anesthesia will make you constipated. Do not wait until you're already constipated to try to take a laxative. Do not wait. I went ahead and took it the next day. They have Smooth Move tea at New Beginnings, and it works. Oh my god. If you've never taken a laxative before, it works. But hey, trust me, you would rather be going a little bit more often than you would rather be going for just a little while, rather than not going at all and being in that much pain. If you've ever been constipated before, it is so painful. Add it to the fact that you have about a mile of bandages wrapped around your chest. It's not something you want to deal with. So, what else? Oh, and then you go into your post-op. I have a video of the post-op, which pretty much goes over everything that he does. So I don't really think I need to go into that, because you just go, wait, go in, he does his thing, and then you leave. That's pretty much it. If I forget anything, I'm not gonna post this for like a day or so. If I forget anything, I'm gonna like make a new little clip and just kind of like shove it in somewhere. But so yeah. I don't really think there's anything else to go over. So yeah, I'm not gonna put that back on. Why am I always like, all of my videos are like this? So maybe you know what? I'm gonna be different. Check this out. Oh my god, look, I'm different. Oh, I have clothes on. So yeah. Anyways, until then, everybody, stay awesome, stay involved. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'll put my email down there. Everybody, peace.